What's going on, everyone? So, the Scream 7 trailer, well, the second trailer, a lot of rumors that it was going to come out today, and at least at the time of recording this video, which it's, 10 a.m. Eastern time, usually trailers come out, either midnight or, 6 a.m. Pacific time, 9 a.m. Eastern time. So maybe they have a late trailer, but chances are it looks like we're not getting a trailer today for Scream 7. Again, there were some rumors. I know a couple other sources said that, like, hey, it might have gotten bumped up and stuff. I saw a lot of people commenting on the previous video, and I saw a couple of the sources that said it was expected to be out today, said that, hey, it might not come out today. But again, this is why, one, I did the video, and two, I talked about in that said video, right? Like, don't get your hopes up, right? Like, we'll get a second trailer eventually. It's still expected to come out this month, right? And every time we kind of get the same thing, right? So, like, for example, Scream, remember the blood drops, everyone swore, and all the sources and stuff like that all said that the trailer was coming and all this stuff, and then we didn't get it. Turned out it was like the official poster or whatever it was. And then, even in October, right? Like, there people swore like the trailer was coming out. What was it, like the 15th or whatever, the 17th or something like that, and it never came out. And then it got bumped again, and then everyone was like, it's coming out in October, and it did come out in October, but it got the bar got kind of pushed on several occasions for when the trailer was actually going to get released. So again, it's one of those things where that's why I always say, like, take it with a grain of salt. And I make the videos talking about it, just one, in case it actually does come out, but two, also to kind of calm expectations, because people get really excited. People want to see the trailer, want to get that stuff. But just in general, right? And I've talked about, I'm a little disappointed in the marketing so far, right? Like, I get, like, Scream 5, you wanted to really kind of up the marketing just because you had such a long hiatus, right? And what, like 11 years in between films. So, you want to kind of make it known, get the word out, kind of promote it a little heavier than you would do otherwise. And then Scream 6, we saw them really kind of take a step back um, as far as marketing goes and stuff. Right? There was a lot of Ghostface stuff that has kind of came out and gone around, but not Scream 7 stuff. There's been very few things. Like, obviously we got the trailer, and look, the trailer was successful. The trailer, got a ton of views and stuff like that. So that's a good sign that there's at least buzz and excitement and stuff. But how many people watched it? Like, I myself watched it probably a dozen times. Just again, part of that is I'm a content creator, but I got a lot of comments from people that are like, dude, I've watched the trailer like 6 times. Like, and so there's a lot of people that watch the trailer 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and you're trying to overanalyze things and look into things. So, again, not saying that obviously to get to those numbers that it did, a lot of people had to watch the trailer. But I just, given everything that's happened, right? This being a new Sydney film, the you're going and making the transition from Melissa and Tara back to Sydney and her daughter Tatum and stuff like that. I I do feel like there is a level of need for development, or not development, but for word of this upcoming film. I do think in a lot of ways this is kind of like you're kind of hitting the reset button here a little bit, and you had a not like a 11-year hiatus, but you had a decent hiatus in between films by the time this movie actually comes out. So to me, it's like I'd like to see a little more, especially because you're banking on this film being good enough to warrant you greenlighting Scream 8, right? So you have Scream 8 greenlit, likely centered around Sydney. I'd like to see a little more kind of the marketing side of things. Maybe I'll kind of dive into this more, in a separate video, and kind of really give my thoughts, and of course let you, share all yours. But in general, right? Like, when you're talking about these trailers, there's supposed to be at least what was greenlit, right? What was rated was 2 more trailers, right? So do they so then, like, you got to imagine, again, this is just my guess, I don't know, but you got to imagine this second trailer, like the trailer number 2, is going to be out within the next week, probably, right? Like next Thursday. Because Spyglass and Paramount, they usually release their stuff on Thursday, right? We got a bunch of other trailers and stuff. We got like the 28 Years Later, the Bone Temple, or was it Bone Temple, I think. And you got bunch of trailers, right? Um, but again, different studios have like each studio kind of has their specific day. So you gotta imagine that the Scream 7 trailers gotta come out probably in the next, like I said, next week, right? So say, it comes out on the 11th, say a week from today, on the 11th, because you want to give it time because the film is in February. So you got to imagine if they're going to release the other 2 trailers, they'd have to release one kind of probably mid-December and then have that third trailer. That one would come out in probably mid-January, right? Maybe late January because the movie is late February. So, about a month before the movie comes out. So I would imagine we'd get kind of, that other trailer and all those other things within the next, probably a week or so. Again, I don't know. This is literally just me guessing based on the information we have, right? But again, that's why I always say, like, take all this stuff with a grain of salt. Take everything with a grain of salt, right? Yes, some of these insiders are spot on at times, but they're not, they're wrong at times too, right? Like, not everything is 100% accurate. We've learned this over the years. Things change, plans change, and it might not even be the insiders. It might not even be like the source people, right? Like sometimes, you get information and then, things change, right? Like, hey, we're gonna release the trailer on the 4th, and then, they go and share like, hey, trailer's coming out on the 4th, and then, whatever, something ends up happening. There's like a editing error or something, and so they got to push it another week, right? Like, sometimes it's just, life happens, things happen, right? Like, so, I don't think it's something, obviously it's disappointing because we all want to see the other trailer. I've talked about, I do kind of have my level of concern that, that they're going to reveal too much in this second trailer, but regardless, like, it's coming out one way or another, whether we like it or not. So, to me, it's like, let's get it out. Let's start ramping stuff up, give us more to talk about, get some new information, get some new details, all that stuff. I think that'd be kind of, fun and interesting. But, we'll kind of see again how this kind of plays out and how everything kind of develops over the next week or so, but again, I imagine it does come out this month. It's just when does it come out type thing. Is it next week? Is it 2 weeks from now? 3 weeks from now? We'll see. But be a nice little Christmas present, right? Anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. That being said, if you like this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. We enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel. What are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.